That's it. The house is chametz free, sparkling. Everything is clean and nice, and all we have to do now is get ready for the magical night of Leila Seder. That one night a year in which we pass the tradition to our children, hopefully successfully. I had a chance to look a few days ago at the Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai Zagoda asks a very interesting question. The Ben Ish Chai asks, how come the order of the Arba Sabanim, the four sons who star in the Haggadah, why is it that it's the Chacham, he's the first one, then the Rasha, then the Tam, Sheinu Dalishol? The way we view the Arba Sabanim, the four sons, Chacham, well, he's the best, he's the top of the list, he ranks very high. Then the Tam and Edo Lishol, they're like somewhere in the middle. And then the Rasha, he's like the, so to speak, bad kid. So why is the Chacham and Rasha together? Why is the Chacham mentioned next to the Rasha? Ben Ish Chai claims that it's disrespectful to the Chacham to be mentioned with Rasha. It should have been Chacham, Tam Shenu Dalishol, they're like the Parv kids, and then the Rasha. He should be on the other side of the spectrum. Why is it Chacham Rasha and then the middle guys? That's the question of the Ben Ish Chai. Before we continue to the answer, I just want to tell you that this year is for the Ilu Neshama of Chaya Giti Bat Muluk, a grandmother of one of my dear Talmidim. And let's dive into an answer which I would say is based on the words of the Ben Ish Chai. Ben Ish Chai says, surprisingly for many of us, that the Tam, B'She'eno De'alishol, in a certain sense, are worse than the Rasha. Why is that? The Tam Shenu Dalishol are people who are not really asking good questions, each one for a different reason. And generally speaking, Tam Shenu Dalishol, they are suffering from some kind of apathy. They're not really interested at all. The Tam is a kind of guy who's like, all chilled and kind of cool, uninterested, all snug. And he's like, quite smug and says, what's this about? This religious thing? Ma Zos, what is this? You have to try and tell him the basic facts because he's just not even there. She'enu De'alishol is really the worst guy in the story. Enu De'alishol is a person who doesn't know how to ask. What does it mean he doesn't know how to ask? Is he like, I'm sorry to say, mentally not there? Can't he even ask the question mazos? He sees the seder going on. Can't he even ask such a simple question as, what is this? Where is he holding? Says Ben Ish Chai that Enu De'alishol is a person who does not know how to ask. Listen to the words. He does not know what to ask or how to ask because he thinks he knows it all. He thinks that he actually knows what's going on. Well, he doesn't. The Tam is a kind of guy who doesn't know, and he just about cares enough to ask what's going on with kind of, lack of interest. The Enu Ishol is a guy who's actually, he believes he knows. That's why he's not asking. He's an ignoramus and unaware of that. The Ben Ish Chai brings the pasuk in Tehillim. Vani bar velo eda, behemos haisi. And then the pasuk continues. Vani bar, yeah, I'm ignorant. Velo eda, and I don't know. Therefore, I'm compared to no less than animals. Says the Ben Ish Chai, b'derech hatzachus, ani bar, I'm so ignorant. Velo eda, I don't know that I don't know. I think I know it all. And therefore, I'm as bad as behemoths. Says Ben Ish Chai, I'm as bad as two animals. I don't know what's going on, and I think that I do. So my level of unawareness is so deep, so deeply rooted, that's really bad news. These are the sons we really have to deal with. These are the sons that don't care, or the ones that don't care, and or even worse, they think that they know and they don't. They really need our help. What about the Rasha? The Rasha cares. The Rasha, he's the bad. Whenever I say bad in this year, I don't really mean bad. I know bad kids in our nation, chas v'shalom. I don't mean really bad. The one who's acting bad, the Rasha, he's Rasha. He's wicked, but he cares. So he's asking provocative questions. Mavada Zois. What is this work all about for you guys and not me? And I'm out of it. I don't care. Those people who shout, those vociferous people, yeah, with or without a head covering, they really care. That's why they're screaming and shouting. What do you have to do? You have to, step up to the job and hakes shinov. You have to fight back. He is a power kid and he wants powerful, real answers. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to, butter him up and be too nice and to this and avoid the issue. He's asking real tough questions and with a lot of love you have to be tough back kind of thing. You have to answer back in the same manner and give him real good answers and, have that mental fight with him because that's what he wants because he really, really cares. One more point, and we'll finish with a story. When it talks about the Chacham, where we should not forget about the Chacham, why always bothered me for years until I opened this Ben Ish Chai Agada. Why is the answer to the Chacham, Maftiri Nachar, Ein Maftir Nachar Pesach Afikomen? So the Ben Ish Chai says something very simple, geniusly simple. He says because of the Chacham, you have to teach him everything. What does Afikomen represent? Afikomen represent the end of Seder. It's true that afterwards we still have songs of praise, we have the Hallel, I know, but Afikomen does represent some level of finity, of something finite, of something that comes to an end. It's an ending point. You have to teach him everything. When your son is a chacham, when he's thirsty and wants to know, don't deny him. Al tim natov mi'ba'olov. You have to teach him more and more and more. Ben Ish Chai brings down, in the Haggadah of the Ben Ish Chai, brings down a fascinating story. Rashi HaKadosh, his best Talmud was his grandson, the Rashbam. Rashbam, his favorite disciple, Rashi came to the Rashbam in a dream after Rashi was nifter, and he taught him some very, very high level of Shemes HaKadoshim, some secret of Shemes HaKadoshim, which he never taught him while he was alive. And he told him, I don't have time. They don't allow me to talk to you too much here in the upper world. So remember well what I'm teaching you. And he taught him some kind of, real deep secret. And then he went away. The reason why Rashi did not teach it to him while he was alive was because Rashi did not know whether Ashbam is really suitable and apt enough to receive that kind of information. Only in Olam Emes they told Rashi what Rashbam's real level was, then he quickly came down and taught him and went up again. In other words, if you know that your Talmud is there, is a recipient, he is a person who's a receptacle to receive more Torah, teach him as much as you can. Don't stop. So you have to teach as much as you can for the Chacham. You have to deal with the Rasha in a good, tough love, because he wants to know, he cares. And the Tamish and the Lishol, they're actually more far. They may not seem that far, but maybe they are. Inside, they're further away, so they don't seem to care. So obviously, you have to teach them and you have to ignite the fire within them. May we all be zeicha to sit by the Seder night with all of our children, see the good in all of them. It's for sure there. And we'll be zeicha to see Pnei Mashiach b'meir b'meinu amen. Thank you so much. I just want to thank all of you Torah Anytimers for being with me in the series of Shiurim. This is the last one of the series about Pesach. And so happy to see so many people, Baruch Hashem, watching and supporting. Thank you. May we all be zeicha to see to bring the Korban Pesach and Beis Hamikdash with all our tzaddikim children. B'mheir b'yameinu amen. Thank you.